Welcome to DD Live. Thank you for tuning in. We heard all your reviews. We heard all your comments, but let's get to it. I want to talk about week 3. There was a lot to talk about. Some might say the greatest trade or the worst trade. Some might say the best GM or the worst GM. There was drama off the field, and there was drama on the field. But let's get to that recap. That's what you're here for. Let's not waste any time, and let's get in to recap the games of last week. Now, for the first game, we had the Steelers and the Seahawks. And for this, we have brought a special analyst. And we want to welcome our very own Ernie Diaz. Ernie, thank you for joining us. And you're here to talk about the Seahawks and the Steelers. Talk to us. What happened?
It's very simple. There's not a lot to talk about when the game goes 4-1. I know we want to sit here. We want to create interesting headlines. We want to talk about Devin versus Peaky. But it was really Peaky versus whoever the hell he wanted, because the game was never close. It was never close. It really wasn't. And playing for both teams, I don't have a bias. We spanked them. That's about it.
What was the dynamic working into the game?
Going into the game, Devin made sure that Peaky knew he made a mistake by trading him. And, Devin made sure he talked for 2 weeks leading up to that, letting him know that, it was coming, watch out. They had something up their sleeve. They just added Lulu. So, there was a lot of talking going on. And Peaky, someone alluded to this before. Peaky's the type of guy that if you give him flame, that's not someone you want playing mad. He probably pays better when he's upset. So in the chat, he let us know, look, guys, I'm real calm right now. But if there's one game that we have to win, it's going to be the 8 a.m. game. And off rip, as soon as the first play started, Peaky let Devin know little by little, I'm here. And I'm here. And by the time the game was over, 4-1. What could I say? 4-1. It's a complete domination. Utter complete domination.
For all of us that weren't there, was there like a specific play in which you felt that they knew that it was over? Was it on the first touchdown? Was it on an interception? Because we're going to get to the stats, but put us in the game. We want to know about the game.
Okay.
We want to know about what happened at the end of the game, because we heard there was we don't have any footage of it, but
okay.
Las malas lenguas hablan, and it was a little chippy. So we tell us more about that, Ernie.
Yeah. So the first drive, I believe we went down. I think we scored like in 3 plays. I don't even think we got to like a 3rd down. I remember scoring on Laz. That's where you get for selling me out for Flannies. But yeah, I scored on him first drive, nice and easy. I knew the game was in our hands when I saw in the first drive, Devin missed Lulu twice. Missed him for a first down, overshot him, and then missed him in the back of the end zone by himself. I will say, I don't know if Lulu was holding back because he just came back from injury and it's DD and, the competition to him, I guess, isn't the highest, but I don't think Lulu was all there. And if he was all there, he definitely didn't have his best game. But I think it had to do more with the way Devin played rather than Lulu. But when I saw Lulu miss a first down catch and then get overthrown in the end zone, I knew that the game was over. If they can't get Lulu involved, there's no way they were going to win.
Right. But Ernie, going into the week, there was so much talk about how lopsided, that Joan didn't act in good faith, the trade for Devin, then they were able to add Lulu, and that he's this athletic player, which I got to see over the weekend play, and he's a phenomenal player.
He's good.
Was it more because of chemistry? Was it because of injury? Or just they just weren't gelling?
Listen, when you got 2 Top Gun guys, what you consider Top Gun guys on one roster, I don't care. In done deal, there shouldn't have to be a chemistry problem. It should be Devin and Lou and let that take over. There was a play in the game where I think Lulu catches the ball and he tries to break right, and he makes one of those stop on a dime cuts and cut the other way. And I guess his injury was still in his mind that he kind of stopped. Peaky kind of ran into him. There was some contact. Lulu understood it wasn't nobody's fault, but that just goes back to saying that Lulu wasn't all there. He wasn't, I don't think he was trying his hardest, to be quite frank with you. I'm not sure if it's because there is no chemistry with Devin. I'm not sure it's because it's his first weekend done deal. He didn't know what done deal is. But I feel if you have 2 Top Gun guys on a roster against literally Peaky and 3 tier 3s, there's no way that game should have ended 4-1.
Because Anthony got hurt, the first drive or the first play?
and the first drive, like within the second, and I wish I can show you. I have a picture of his hamstring. It's bad. Like his hamstring.
We saw it. It's purple.
Yeah.
It's done. So I mean, we showed up. I got a small shirt for him because I know he fit it. He's super tall and lanky. He was looking good out there running routes. He caught we were doing a little warm-ups and he caught a ball up here on his chest. And we were like, oh my God, whatever. He's fast, so you make it happen. Third play, the guy goes to catch a ball. I see him on the sideline, hammy shot. So at that point with Lulu and Devin against 4 hard, where Lulu doesn't have to come off the field, we shouldn't have stopped them on offense. And yet,
they scored once, so there was definitely something going on there.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think Devin plays better when he doesn't talk, and Peaky plays better when he's pissed. I don't think he had the right approach.
And ultimately, I'm going to ask you a very hard question here.
Mm-hmm.
Is Devin a tier 2 from here on forward?
Absolutely not. His lack of defense automatically puts him at a tier 3.
Okay. At
one point, is Devin a really good center in done deal? He's probably one of the better centers. I don't care how big or heavy he is. He
knows
the game. He's played a lot.
I agree.
He's one of the better centers. But on defense, I don't think Devin can cover a lot of the tier 3s, let alone the tier 2s.
Yeah, realistically, one-on-one, I have to agree. I personally, I mean, I would live in tier 4, but I don't think there's not a quarterback on the board that is worthy of a tier 2 pick, in my opinion. Especially as the league gets deeper and deeper. Because
right now, no, I agree.
Yeah, which is
too hard. It's too hard. It's too hard for you to depend. The quarterback needs to be, someone on the level of a Peaky or an Eddie, where their offense is so astronomically high that their defense becomes second, third fiddle, because it's way too much of a burden to count on a quarterback, which again, we're talking about Devin, Victor, Chris J. They're not athletically able to keep up with the tier 2. Maybe here and there on occasion, of course they can. But throughout the course of a game, you can't count on them to cover tier 2.
So it's safe to say that everyone sort of misjudged and overreacted to the transactions, and we kind of let everything settle, and the Steelers were fool's gold.
I think what happened is initially, I think we thought that Devin helped make Peaky better. But I think what we all learned after that week 1 is that Peaky made Devin better. Okay. I mean, guys, if you remember the Seahawks, I wasn't on the Seahawks, but their week 1 team was Yandri, Devin, Manies, and Peaky. 4 hard, they went 3-1.
Yeah.
The following week, they go 1-3. Trades had to happen. But I mean, I think Peaky made Devin better. We all thought that, maybe the handoff game, and it was dynamic for a while. But after going 1-3 week 2, I think we all understood that Peaky was the better player on the team.
It's tough. I mean, the handoff game definitely works in Done Deal. It's probably the most deadly weapon on offense in Done Deal. But at the end of the day, you have to play defense. Yeah. You have to play defense.
Yeah.
You guys on the Ravens run it so well, like that double handoff with Paulie and Chris. If you run a handoff correct and Done Deal, it's very hard to cover. But
I'm also a tier 4.
Yeah.
Not a tier 2.
Exactly.
So that's why we are where we're at, because I was definitely not the number 1 pick in tier 3 2 seasons ago. Last season, I thought I was drafted accordingly at the beginning of tier 4. Just the initial team just wasn't there, in my opinion.
Right.
But, the trade happened and I was perfectly fine with my trade to the Steelers. And, I thought the only week we had a full team of 5, we went 3-0. And we beat you guys, I think the Seahawks last year with Revis.
Yep.
That he showed up miraculously after he was supposed to miss that week.
We all knew he was showing up, by the way.
Yeah, we all knew, but we beat Joan that week, and I think we beat Chris D that week as well. So the only week we had 5 people who went 3 hard. But it's tough. It's tough to run with a quarterback as a tier 2. It's extremely tough.
So it was more drama than anything, right, Ernie?
More. I know where you're going.
It sounds like you're on the winning side of this. You're on the winning side of this transaction, and I think we're going to see you guys in the playoffs.
I mean, look, if we're able to get a 5th person to stay healthy, if we get someone with 2 hamstrings, I don't even care if they have 2 arms.
Any
If they
insight?
have
Any insight if you guys are gonna have that guy for Saturday or no?
we did make a pick. It was
You want
announced.
to drop something on DD Live, or are you gonna let your captain do the talking?
No, I think it was already announced, if I'm not mistaken, on the DD.
Yeah, I think you guys picked up Danny, right?
Yeah,
Arango?
Danny Arango.
Arango?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we confirmed he has 2 working hamstrings,
Excellent.
so he automatically met the criteria. Can he play flag football? I think I've seen him sometimes. At this point, I don't care.
I think he's a solid bottom tier 3. I think that was a fair pickup. You guys didn't get a lot worse, in my opinion.
It's for James. So at the end of the day, James is a freak athlete. Danny played the game. So I think in done deal, I think that coincides.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, right now, you guys will take anybody with 2 working hamstrings.
Listen, I think if Manny S has to go another week 4 hard, he might just not make it.
Hey, but his stats are up there. His stats are up there.
5. Angel, you're a great guy. You know, you're phenomenal. You hosted DD Live. You got a great personality. You wear 2 knee braces, which I think is cool. You do your own thing.
I don't wear knee braces anymore.
Oh, you feeling like that? Shout out to
I didn't wear knee braces in week 3.
That's how you beat the Steelers coming back 3-0. I saw that too. Don't think I missed that. But at this point, yeah, man, you give us 5 hard. I like the Seahawks' chances. I've been blessed in my done deal career, which spans 2 seasons, to play with Joan, Nico, and Peaky. I can't sit here and say what it's like to play with a bad quarterback. I haven't been able to, but wherever I go, winning follows. What can I say?
Ernie,
it was. You're gonna leave Revis out of there? You're gonna leave Revis out of that?
Revis is the reason I broke my collarbone. So Revis is getting left out of there. So yeah, I love him, but no.
Ernie, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your insight, and I have a feeling we're gonna see you more often.
I like that, and thank you guys for having me. In the words of Russell Wilson, go Hawks.
I like that shirt, by the way.
G's up, baby. G's up.
All right, brother. Take care.
Thank you, brother.
Well, that was interesting. Yeah, that was one of those games that I did want to see. I heard about the scuffle. You know, but listen, you knew Peaky was going to show up. If you've seen Peaky play before, you knew his demeanor. He's a captain, he's a quarterback, and obviously a leader. You saw the tension leading up in the couple of weeks, and he took his team, and I think rightfully so. They'll be in the playoffs. Moving on, we're going to go to the next big game, and unfortunately, I'm going to be burdened not only with the task of having played in that game, but having to commentate on about it. And again, for some reason, it's another DD Live segment, and it's the All About David segment. I guess I'm going to talk more about David.
Here we go.
And his masterpiece. Well, no, it was simple. We went 4 hard. We didn't have our second tier 5. Notoriously, the 49ers have been dubbed the 2 trash tier 5 team. And we only had 1 trash tier 5 playing. We had to go 4 hard, and we kept them 0-0 for the better part of 20 minutes. But between Dusty pouring out his intestines out on the sidelines,
I heard about that.
Love that man. You know, and listen, Jordan was pouring it all out, and we went 4 hard. We did the best that we could, and unfortunately, we just came up short. The Rams, they got 3 quick scores in the last 10 minutes of the game, and it proved the gap that there is from that 1-2 spot to the other teams. Now, anything could happen in any particular game, but in this one, it wasn't in the cards for the 49ers. We just got blanked out 3-0. It would have been more had Forrest not dropped a wide open touchdown. Inconsistent hands there for Mr. Dupree. I have to say something negative about the Rams. You can't.
Yeah, no, I see it. I see it here. I mean, like you said, this is another David segment. You know, he went 12 for 19, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. And I think the most important stat in this game was Forrest with 3 catches, 1 touchdowns, and 5 throw-ups.
5 throw-ups. 5 throw-ups. and he added more to that total later on in the game.
Yeah.
But you know, listen, and I rushed David the whole game, and there was moments where I felt I had him, and he was just always one side step away, and that kid just has stamina for days. And the fact that he could do it going both ways on the football field, playing offense and defense, just, you know, I said it last week, and I said it again this time. I think he's in that top 3 category, and the Rams deservingly so are in that top spot. And we're going to talk about them in the next game as well, because they had another big game. And for that, I will pass it on to Vic. For some reason, Pera didn't want to commentate on this game. So, Vic, tell us what happened between the Rams and the Ravens.
Yeah, so I refereed this game, and I just want to give a disclaimer.
You didn't referee much. First of all, the Cardinals.
Okay, hold on, but give me a second. Give me a second, all right? Let me at least speak my piece, all right? I did my best, okay? I did my best. I called the holding call that everybody complained about. And then, so I will say this. The refereeing was horrendous. Cardinals are definitely bottom tier 5 when it comes to refereeing. So I just want to say that to begin with.
Is this the game where Jesus was like laying on the floor?
Laying down on one behind the end.
He looked like Don Bailey. He looked like Don Bailey, like in the carpet commercial, just like laying there, just con una toallita tirada encima. It's just I saw that. Yeah, I did see that.
He was definitely modeling. He was definitely modeling. CC was on the sideline at some point, just not like I don't know, talking to who knows who. So again, I did my best. Okay, I can't see everything and take stats at the same time. I love CC, top flag football player, but tier 5 referee. But anyways, so this was a good game. It was a good game defensively because the game, it took a while to develop. You know, there was some, and again, as a quarterback, right, hindsight is 20/20. That's how you know that. I'm the same way. There was a lot of throws that I was like, man, this person's open, and people weren't making those throws on both sides. David. Yep. And even for you, you know, so it was both sides. You could see. I don't know if it was the dynamic of like that mindset. We're playing this. These are the top 2 teams, and you made a little bit nervous.
I think I don't want to say I was pressing. I will say I think we kind of relaxed a little bit once we saw Forrest, completely just pour his guts out and he couldn't play. So I feel like I would say for myself, I definitely relaxed a little bit. You know,
what was your record going into the game, like for the day?
We were 2-1.
Okay, so you were going to, because I'm trying to put in a mindset of how you were walking into this game. So you were 2-1 walking into this game.
We had lost our first game. We got off to a little bit of a rough start, even though the game was 4-3. It took us a little while. Just like in this game, it took us a little while to get into that first game. But we made a good comeback. We won our next 2 games. And to be honest, you know, I don't think the Rams can play with us with a full team. I know obviously they beat us 3-2. But I think realistically, I think David right now is definitely the MVP, but I don't think they can play with us with a full team just because there's something to me about Forrest that it's a different dynamic on offense, yes, but on defense, it definitely makes them weaker, in my opinion. So
can you elaborate on that?
It's just so as a regular defense, you know, when that game they were able to have
talk to me because I don't play defense, so I want to see what
they were able to have David at safety, which is what he normally plays.
Okay.
Danny and Nick Patino. They weren't playing their positions, you know, their ideal positions, at least I would say, but they know the game, so they're able to run a regular defense.
Okay.
Which is fine. I prefer playing against something like that because I know how to call plays and how to try to isolate people, anticipating what a regular quote defense is going to do. But there was, so even though I'm saying it, and you would think, coño, it's probably easier for me to call plays that way. For whatever the reason, there was just something, you know. I know, like I said, I definitely relaxed once I saw Forrest come out for whatever the reason. But I will say, Saturday, it probably felt like it was 180 degrees out there.
Sure was.
It was extremely hot. I know Paulie was dying. I know Chris D I think he changed shirts like 3-4 times during that game. So it was, again, I think fatigue, but I think it might have been mentally fatigued because I think going into the week, we assumed and we thought to ourselves that the Vikings game, the game prior to that, was going to be a little bit tougher, at least matchup wise. And we beat them, and at least in my opinion, we beat them comfortably. Aside from Patterson doing whatever obscenities he did to me in the back of the end zone, I thought we beat them, you know, pretty comfortably. Even though Dax got hurt towards the latter part of the game, but I think that game took out a lot out of us. But yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, David picked me off and was a pick 6, you know, on a late throw that I had across the middle. And then at the end of the day, they still had to clutch up. And at the end of the day, with less than a minute, they had to get a first down to run to ice the clock. So they did it. You know, they beat us, and they beat us fair and square. I'm not gonna say anything about that, but like, I'll take my chances against them any day. It was a good game, you know, a great game. I think definitely. It was a tough game for us because we got the L, but I enjoyed playing that game. That game was a good game.
It sure was. It sure was. And
I will say, I think the game changing play, just to add one thing really quick, was the PI against Chris. And we can talk whether it was PI or not. That was a touchdown pass.
Yeah, that was
that was called back, and that left you guys on the 2.5 yard line. You know, so
on third down.
That yeah, exactly. So it's like that right there was what pretty much the game changer. And we can argue whether it was or not. I think it was clean, but either way, you know, I think that was a game changer because that touchdown, that changes the game so much.
No, that zaps everything out of you. You know, you go from second and long, or you score a touchdown, a game time touchdown that gives you all the momentum. So now you get backed up inside your own 5 yard line, and you're going on third down, and you're just trying to get a first.
Exactly.
And here we are with your top 5 plays. And this is exactly what you guys been waiting for. You guys put in the grind, you put in the time, and you want the recognition. But before we get to the top plays, we want to stress something extremely important to every single one of you. We cannot have eyes and ears on every single field. So please, if there's something worthy of your team that you want to share, send it to myself, send it to one of our co-hosts, or send it to Andres. We will look at all your footage. We'll look at all your content, because the idea of this segment is to give recognition and due to those top plays that you guys performed over the weekend. And everyone should get their merit. And with that, we'll move on to play number 5.
So this right here, this was my game. If you look at that catch Jesus did, man, that's tier 5. I'm sorry, we got to give credit. That's tier 5 right there. Look at this catch. Like, it was a horrible throw. Thrown behind him. He's running.
It looked like he was laying down, like while he was refereeing.
He looks like he's about to go lay down.
Oh man! So, if he makes that move, who do you make that move on?
I hate to say it again, but that's Julio again.
Wow, man! If he gets past Julio, I don't know, man. He drops a whole tier. One more time.
Maybe.
Look at the big fella. Extension. Whoop! Almost. Nice flagpole.
Oh, I love that play. That was one of those I threw it to him and I said, because if he doesn't catch it, it ends up in Julio's hands.
Yeah, it could potentially be a pick.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So we got number 4 right here. Yeah, we got number 4 right here. This is from the Raiders-Rams game. It's actually, I believe it's my video. They actually run a fairly common play here. They're going to go, Jules is out wide. He's going to run a post. Lewis is running an out and up.
You got Lewis with an out and up.
JD throws it up to Jules, and Jules does what only Jules can do and make a spectacular play, and he mossed David in the end zone. I don't remember if he scored or they called him short at the 1, but this is the upside that Jules brings. You know, I bash him because he's a little bit inconsistent for my taste, but he definitely has the ability to make these spectacular, you know, game-changing plays. You know,
he knows it. Look right here. Look at that hand up. Hand up. David reads it, and Jules he brings out a ladder and gets that score.
Yeah, and JD's great with that deep ball. That he throws a great deep ball.
I don't know who loves the deep ball more, either him or Devin, because
it's JD, no question.
Because it's like, I feel like almost every highlight for both these guys, it's a deep ball, and paid dividends on this one. Moving on.
Number 3 is actually another one of my videos. JD was I would say a poor choice to throw that ball deep, you know, across to the corner. David is just standing right in front. So this is obviously a pick 6. As you see, David is still being a captain here. he's making sure his team knows I'm still gonna have to get out the next drive because this doesn't count as an offensive drive. But this is a huge pick six. That was with the Raiders driving to 3. They were already up 3-1. So that was for the game. If they catch this is for the game. So it's a pick. He picks it off at the goal line. Again, I give Jules credit. He hustles back.
Yeah, almost got that flag. Almost got that flag.
He almost got that flag. But again, David, this was a huge, huge game-changing, momentum lifting play for the Rams because again, like I said, it was 3-1 at that point. So if somehow the Raiders come away with a catch there, it's game, it's ball game, 4-1. And then this brought them back 3-2, and then it started the comeback.
I just don't know why you would force it there.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was second down or third. So
it would make sense more if it was a third down play.
Yeah, I would hope it was a third down, but I mean, at least if it's a third down, throw it up. Don't throw it on a line where someone can just run underneath it and catch it on the go. But at the end of the day, it was a great play by David. He's able to run it back for the pick six. And like I said, it wasn't a spectacular play, but the significance of it was huge.
All right, so play number 2. And here we have Devin and the Steelers against the Vikings.
Yeah, this might be the Steelers' only highlight of the week. Well, I believe their only highlight. Devin with his signature plays that he likes to call. A little bit of a bad throw, high and behind, and this is just what Lulu can do and what Lulu brings to the field. Just a freak. He goes up
on Patterson.
On Patterson, catches it one hand behind him, and still gets the feet in. He makes it look nonchalant, which is kind of annoying and frustrating because there's no reaction. He makes it look like there's nothing. And that's great.
Look at that. And that's on Patterson.
And forget who it is. That's great defense.
Yeah.
And then to still get both feet in bounds. That's not one foot. You got both feet in bounds. That's an incredible play. Let's watch it again one more time in real time.
Man,
we gotta let the Steelers have their moment because it was a rough week for them.
Yeah.
It's been a rough season. And then to your top play for week 3.
Go ahead, Vic. I hate for you to be the one to break this down, but go ahead.
So this top play right here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. See that beautiful dime? I saw G open, so I figured I'd get it to him. And I helped him out. I put a block on CC right there. If you rewind, I put a nice little block on him.
And then you just decide to put your own flags at the end of the play just for the sake of it.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I saw this play from the 5-yard line because our tent was on the end zone where you're
on the opposite side.
Exactly where you're throwing to. So I'm like, I'm in the tent. I'm looking at this play, and I see Albert just making that run, and Hurston right behind him. And once I see the ball in the air, I notice the ball's in the air because Hurston is smiling. This man is smiling. And if you look in the video, he's from the very onset, he's looking at the quarterback. So this man is keeping up on the route, looking at the ball, knows it's underthrown, grabs it, and then puts the moves on. That's being a veteran. Ran into traffic knowing that the opposing team was going to crash into each other, and the significance of this play, it was a walk-off. It was game over.
That's a huge play.
And that tells you that you don't got to be a tier 1, and you don't got to have amazing knees, and I'm just hyping myself up. Hurston, top play. That's you, boy. And you know what?
Well deserved.
Well, and not just that. The most beautiful part about this, right there, you see the stars. You see the stars running in the distance. You see those golden stars running in the distance.
He's definitely pulling them to you.
That's a top play.
A couple drives earlier, there was a throw that I threw to Albert, which was literally the same route. It was a slant go, and it was a touchdown. And so we figured, man, okay, let's try it again. he read it. I mean, again, that's why there's a difference. I know he's tier 4, but he's a DD vet. He knows, he sees what's coming. So he knew I'm not getting beat by this again. You saw he had perfect coverage on him. The only way I could maybe make the throw is if I throw it high and outside. And it's either out of bounds or Albert makes a crazy catch with 2 feet in, So what he did on that play, I got to give it to him. And he took it to the house.
That's the beauty about this league is that, a lot of us, our athletic ability, a lot of it is already gone. So we might not be able to play both sides of the ball. We can't play a full game. And then you have these veterans that they're making an impact with not only, they have their physical ability because, man can still move, but the fact that his power is to know where to position himself, because, a rookie, he's just going to be reading body language. But, from the very get, he already knew he got beat for a touchdown earlier in the game. So he already knows that, all right, this is the route that Albert loves to run, and I'm looking at it. And the fact that he was able to read the trajectory on the ball, intercept it, and then because then the rookie is going to run to wherever he sees grass, but he runs straight into his team in order to cause that confusion. And then he bounces it out and only has to make one guy miss. And that was the game. And it was a pivotal game for them because it just positions, they're playing with a hurt quarterback, which, my bold prediction was that they were going to go 2-2. They went 2-2, and now they're in prime position with their changes that they're making to the team for this upcoming week to be able to make moves. They have a tough schedule. It's a very tough schedule, which I'm sure we're going to go over in one of the following segments. But the Dolphins are one of those bubble teams that are looking to make a playoff push, and
they'll be scary if they get in. I can attest to this. If they do get in, I'm not sure they will, but if they do get in, they'll be a scary team.
Yeah. Well, when you have a tier 4 making plays like that to seal a game, not on offense, because we have seen that this is an offense-driven league with the way that the games have been broken down. Because everything that we've been seeing, it's it's offense. But it's also a fresher breath air to see that the little guy can make a difference, and on defense. That's excellent. And again, we repeat, if you guys want to be on the top plays, we need those highlights. We need that content. So to any of us four, myself, Matt, Perra, Jules, or Andres, send it in. We want to see it. We want to give you guys your due.
And an honorable mention, because this was arguably the best play of the week, was Patterson doing nasty things to the Ravens, myself in the back corner of the end zone, to myself and to Chris D. I'm glad it didn't get on film, but I'm disappointed no one was recording that, because that has been that was because of the fact that it was on 2 people. Even though if you don't want to count me, I was still there in position, so it was on 2 people. I would give that the play of the year so far over Laz's play.
And so we're gonna call it the Patterson rule. You guys want to make the top plays? Get us those videos. Get it in here, guys. So that being said, we're gonna move on to our very next segment, and this one is gonna be a hold of Mr. Jose Guerra, DD Dimes. Take it away, Perra.
DD Dimes, same thing Andrew just said, guys. We want to bring the best plays, the best throws, to you guys, and this week, we have only 3 plays, only 3 dimes. At the end of the day, all 3 of them were great throws. They were quarterback making the throws, like I said last time, these are the few throws that we as quarterback, Victor and I can make and say, we made that throw. That wasn't the receiver making us look good. We made that throw. So, we're going to kick it off. Number 1 was actually one of my games, our first game. The Ravens versus the Raiders. So again, like I said, this game, it took us a little while to get into it, but it's just, like I said, I don't think, just like we said that David throws a great touch corner throw, or just a post, he just puts great touch on it. I don't think anyone throws a better just straight goal or a straight length of the field post route than JD. This is on third and long to get the first.
Look at that vertical. Wow.
We had come back to tie the game at 3, and you know it was third and long, and we told Paulie, hey, you know what's coming? It's a straight go route to Lewis, you know, and he relied a little bit. He sat down and relied a little bit on his speed too much. You see there at the end, thankfully no one got hurt, but Lewis never broke stride. He just ran right underneath that ball. That was a great throw by JD to win the game.
Homer Simpson gif here with Lewis coming out of the bushes. Look at that. Boom. I'm here. That was a beautiful. That's a beautiful dime. That's a beautiful dime.
Our second dime comes from our quote unquote disabled quarterback. As you can see here, is not being his usual self. Couldn't even like step into a throw all of last week. Throws a beautiful, I don't even know what to say, a touch. He can't, because he can't put velocity on that throw. It's just a straight out for the first. And Vic, he throws it right past your outstretched arm. So
and Rafa coming full speed.
Yeah, no, and he can't move. He couldn't move that week.
So I was playing defense on that play, and the moment he looked my way and I saw his arm going in motion, I thought it was a pick, because if he doesn't throw it to the outside, I make a play.
He looks even
I know he can't throw it to the throw.
Yo, but my PT got a catch there, man. That's a catch.
Yeah.
When he threw it, I couldn't believe it. I literally told him, wow, that was a beautiful throw. Only to where his receiver can catch it. The only way I can make a play is if I jump out of bounds.
Or just launch Jose into the next field, because wow, that was on the money.
Yeah.
That was a dime.
This is like you called it, you know, and right before this, slant go to Albert, right to the outside. I think this is where you made the mistake in the second throw, where you threw it on the inside and instead of the outside, as you see here. Is a slant go. Usually you tell your receiver, I'm gonna throw it to the outside, give me space on the sideline. You know, and you put it on the sideline. That is same thing. He never broke stride, just ran right underneath it, gave you plenty of room to the outside, and you just dropped it in the bucket.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. No, it was a beautiful throw.
Tie it up, no?
Beautiful throw.
No, we were winning 3-1 that game. They came back 3-1. So that was the go up. I think 3. I think we had 3 at that point.
And they beat you guys 4-3.
He said, let's not go.
You know, we hate that we don't have enough, you know, content in terms of videos. But like we said, you know, guys, we urge you to please, you know, record when you're refereeing. Try to not do it as much when you're refereeing, because we want you to pay attention to the games. But if you're not refereeing, please walk around, take turns. I know Andres was doing it, you know, and that's our commissioner right there. So let's try to help out so that we can, you know, put the best show for you guys. Because, you know, when those great plays happen, we want to be able to share them with you, because we can't see everything. You know, just like we can't record everything, you guys can't see everything, because if you're playing and another great play happens on another field, you can't see it. So, you know, let's just try to, you know, keep the brotherhood and keep helping each other out in terms of recording when we're not, you know, too busy. Let's try to record so that, you know, we can provide the best videos and the best top plays, dimes, all the moments that are worthy of being on the show. And
now moving on to another segment, which is a cornerstone and a mainstay for DD Live, which is our on-field interviews by Jules. So without further ado, Jules, take it away.
All right, guys, DD Live. I'm here with Who's This? How you feeling, bro?
Feel great. I'm still a Jet, 5-4. I thought I did what was best for the Jets.
Okay.
New year, new me. Let's get it.
A lot of people feel like this was a controversial part by you, but at the end of the day, DDPA also agreed on it. So how are your thoughts on that?
Bro, this is how the league is run. Everyone could have done this. I just did it this time. And I hope they can forgive me for whatever it is, but hey, I'm trying to win a star, baby.
One last thing, am I your dog or your boy?
You my dog.
Hey, so fellas, DD Live here. I'm here with the new acquired Bug. How do you feel, boy? You just beat the team that traded you.
Feels really good, you know. I was able to get the Buccaneers their first win. You know, the Vikings were talking a lot of shit, but you know, at the end of the day, they lost on their defense, which they tried to getting better at by trading me. Didn't happen.
Nice. One last thing. Am I your dog or your boy?
No.
Jules here from DD Live. I'm here with the new acquired Steeler. How you feeling, boy?
Feeling all right, man. We're chilling.
Okay, it was a big controversial trade, man. How you feeling about that?
It was good. It was good for both teams. I mean, we just got to get acclimated with each other. But unfortunately, in DD, since things happen so quickly, there's a lot of pressure on it.
Okay, so how you feel like you guys are going to be here the rest of the way?
Well, we're 0 today.
Rough.
So yeah, I know it is rough. But we're gonna win this one, and we're gonna win out next week. We'll sneak in the playoffs and do some work.
I like that confidence. Yo, so are you my boy or my dog?
My boy.
I'll take it.
And now to our next segment, something a little different. And we're going to do an interview with a coveted guest. And for this, we're going to ask Vic to lead the interview for us. And we're bringing on one of the best players on Grown Ups. Some of you might say that he's soulless. Some of you might say that he wears too much clothing or too much sunscreen. But in my heart, the man is solid. He's a gamer. He's a DD lifer. And without further ado, Dusty Dusto Rhodes. Dusty, great to have you on. Thank you for joining us.
This is my lawyer, Tony.
And
Thank you very much, bro. Super happy to be here.
Awesome. Vic, take over.
Yes. So tell us. So right now you're sitting at 4th in the standings. Okay. You have 2 tier 5s, and you have a non-captain quarterback. How? How do you do it? How are you in 4th in the standings?
Bro, because we're a bunch of tryhards, and because there's a lot of people that doubt us, bro. You guys don't understand what talking down on somebody can do to a man's character to make her want to perform at the top level. And this is stuff I've heard all my life that you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be doing this, and I just get where I'm not supposed to be. And I like I like bringing up my teammates to where we could all experience that feeling.
Yeah, and so now going against the odds, do you think you can win in DD without having a quarterback as a tier 1?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, look, Chris J is balling, and he was, the second pick. So, I mean, I could handle whatever I need to handle on defense, but that guy ain't no slouch either. So, I think we've got one of the top defenses out there to handle anybody, honestly. So, my captain not being a quarterback, and just Chris J doing his thing is, all we need.
Yeah, but you still got 2 tier 5.
Angel's a tier 5, bro. But on offense, that guy balls. He's still learning the game on defense. But they're trash as fuck. Listen, everybody, they're trash as fuck. Especially
Dusty, stop,
Angel,
man. I'm trash tier 5, man. We already
heard. You're the worst
podcast.
fucking tier 5 out there, Angel, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take it any day. Twice on DD Saturdays.
Let's get it. I can't wait for this Saturday.
So tell me, without giving away too much of your game plan and stuff like that, how do you overcompensate for 2 tier 5s when you have them on the field?
I mean, bro, they're pretty good, but it's when we're out there, we gotta, those first couple drives, we gotta handle business straight up. It is what it is. While me and Jordan are out there, before him or me got to take a break, we got to we got to make sure we're like 2-1, 2-0, yeah. But then, as I said, bro, George's had big catches, Angel's sure hands, just defenses, I think is what we're just learning, and as that will be our anchor going through the playoffs and stuff like that.
So that's going to get me into 2 different things. But one question I want to ask you about Jordan really quick. That's your captain, right? Tier 1. He seemed, as far as the rankings go, I think he was 12. He was a little bit lower on the tier 1 scale. But what is it that you've seen that he brings to the team just as a captain? Because as a player, we know he can play, right? We've seen him play. We know he can play. The guy can play flag football. There's a reason why he's a tier 1 captain, right? But what does he bring to the team as a captain that helps to propel this team to, again, 4th place with a non-tier 1 QB and 2 tier 5s?
Bro, that dude is a leader, bro. That dude is a leader, knows how to talk to us when we're winning, knows how to fucking express himself when we're fucking letting fucking Mendoza having a fucking career day on us. And, it just has to do with him just knowing the game and understanding what needs to happen, play by play. You know, I feel I know play by play as well. So just, you know, him shelling that off as an attitude, you know, saying like, you know, we could get this, you know, we'll be all right. You know, I think his leadership skills are top tier.
I agree. I've seen him go really high and raise the bar as far as his vocals, and then I've seen him bring it low. He knows how to adjust and who to talk to in this team. So I've seen it, and you two are in the huddle with him, so you see it too. So my next question: so you're not a captain, right?
Nope.
I've heard people say he's captain worthy. He's good enough. He can fight for one of those 12, 13, 14 spots. So you're not a captain. Has that taken some weight off of your shoulders?
No, weight. I think I want to prove myself. You know, when I first joined DD, I was coming off a shoulder injury, but I thought I did well enough at the scrimmage to, you know, to prove that I was, you know, good. You know, so just the rankings being as what they are, you know, that doesn't take weight off me. I just feel I want to perform to show where I deserve to be a captain spot. I'd like to take that challenge to be a captain one day.
You know, by definition, you were the first pick. So by definition, you should be a captain in the tournament now that we're adding
CC got me first pick too, you know, before COVID struck, you know, so I feel and that's why I feel like I'm right on the fringe. You know, I'm not saying I'm the best out there. I've never been the best, but you know, I'm not afraid to back down from the best either.
And you know how to use what you can. So now we're gonna lead into one of the final questions for me, and I don't know if the other guys have any questions or comments that they want to bring in too, but what is it about Done Deal that's attractive to you? Why is Done Deal so different?
Bro, you know, it's just like that NFL feel. Like, bro, you got your general managers, your captains, you know, you got trades, you know, you've got power rankings, you've just got like an even team, you know, like you got them 305s and the Date Finest, you know, back in the day, you know, you just got all top tier players. So, you know, a bad player on that team or like at the level we play is nothing to where, no disrespect to anybody, but what like people are playing down here as a tier 5. So I like the teams being equal, man. You know, that everybody having a shot, everybody learning, you know, just it being fair is what separates it from the rest. Anything could happen to anybody and it could be anybody's game, you know?
Yeah, I've seen tier 5 tear up games and make an impact. I dream
about that guy, bro. Week 1, I dream about him. It's in my nightmares.
Yeah. You know, I haven't hijacked this segment, and I have to hijack this segment because I just feel like Dusty's a little too humble here, and we touched a little bit upon about Jordan, and it just one of the things that I want to bring up is the fact that when we were down 3-0 to the Steelers. All right. At that point in time, you guys saw and it's I'm not hot dogging you here. I'm not hot dogging you here, Matt. You guys went 0-4, correct?
Yes.
What happened to your standings? You went from where to where?
We went from 3 to 9. So in top one of the top spots to out of the playoffs.
And what happened to the Titans? Same thing.
The Titans went from
They went 2-2. They still went 2-2 and they dropped. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, you know, that sort of attests to what Dusty was saying, that, you know, it's a very even balanced game. But
Absolutely.
But going into this game, all right, losing, we had lost already one game, right? We had lost 2 games. We
lost to the Rams at the beginning, and then we lost to the Jets, New Look Jets, the second game. We didn't score a single point on offense the first 2 games.
Right. So we go 0-2, and then we go to the Steelers, and it's like, wow, you know, we're gonna drop out.
We're down 3-0.
We're down 3-0. It's 1-score walk-off, and I am gassed. We're playing 4 hard. I'm gassed. Jordan comes up to the huddle. And he just draws the play. You know, Chris wanted to do something. He's like, no, this is what I'm seeing. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to treat it one play at a time. One play at a time.
Yep.
Calm. Like the way that I'm telling you is the way that Jordan walked up and just drew it up. Is like, this is what we're going to run. This is
the leader, bro.
And we're going to keep doing it.
Know what we were going to do.
And then it was play after play after play. Dusty almost coughed a lung. He had already puked half his brains out, but it was just play after play after play after play after play. And it was that no quit mentality that when the game was 3-3, Dusty's like, we got this. It's game over. We're going to finish this right now. And it's just sort of, that's what you breathe in the huddle. It's the fact that it's Jordan leading, and it's just Dusty's that no quit mentality. They're veterans. They've played the game. They know the game and their athletic ability. My opinion, Dusty's a captain. Jordan's a captain. And on defense, those two men are legit. And on offense, those hips that Dusty has, they don't lie. And anything over the top, I put Jordan up there on that deep ball. Catching that deep ball, Jordan arguably top 5 in the league coming down with a deep ball. He just takes the top off any defense. So, the fact that it does not matter the time or the circumstance, these guys, they show up to play. And it makes it easier for a rook to just see that and be like, well, the margin of error, these guys are going to pick up some of the slack. So I can let loose a little bit. And it's and that's the way we've gelled. And that's why we're at where we're at. And it's not my play or George's play. It's definitely not only, our quarterback.
Y'all have had your plays though, bro. You got your plays, bro. George has had, we lost to the Ravens, but third and long from our own 5. Huh?
Who lose to?
Bro. That's probably how that one score happened. All right, whatever, bro. We were close. That's exactly. We can't fuck up. We can't fuck up against the good teams. We gotta go hard those first 2-3 drives, and we gotta score, because if not,
But obviously, as a rook, I'm happy that I landed on a team that
you're learning quick, bro. You're understanding, bro. You're holding it down, bro.
Learning with two guys like you guys, where the skill and the IQ is there. Can't wait for Saturday. We got playoffs to clinch.
RFT, baby. RFT.
Thank you for coming on with us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your insight. I love that you're my teammate. I might drop another picture before here to Saturday. I might have something special. I need that hairstyle. I need a picture with you in that hairstyle, because I need to make an edit with that one. If you want to make a special shout out, this is your moment, Dust. So you got 30 seconds for all of you.
Oh, bro, G's up, bro. Everything, Niners up. I can't wait to prove everybody fucking wrong. We got to get that first round bye. That's what we're aiming for. I'm not afraid to tell anybody about that. And DD, keep doing your things. You guys have created the greatest league out here, surpassing that monopoly that we don't even talk about. And to all my boys that got injured throughout the season, bro, we're praying for you, bro. Hope speedy recoveries, and we can't wait to have everybody back, because everybody that's missing adds on to that DD family that's important and makes this thing work.
Let's see that hair.
Love you guys, and thanks for having me.
Dusto, let's see that hair, man, because we don't get to see it on Saturdays. That's what it is.
Laz, make it a sticker.
Tony the Tiger out for the count. Dusto, it was a pleasure having you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Peace out.
What a guy. I'm telling you, this like seeing that, that's what, well, you've had him, you've traveled with him. He's on G's. You're on G's, perra.
The guy is ridiculous. The guy is the funniest human being by far.
Yeah, man's a character. Love that guy. And
he seems like the kind of guy everybody wants to play with on the football field.
Bro, it is not even close. That is the best teammate and the funniest human being on the face of the earth.
Absolutely. And he, one thing that he doesn't get enough credit for, he knows how to read people. Because just on Saturday, we're walking in between plays. He comes, he throws his arm over my shoulder, and he's like, "Yo, what's up?" And I'm like, I let him, I gave him a piece of my mind. I'm like, "Yo, this and this is going on," and he was like, "Yo, wipe it out. Next play, do this, and I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you." And just the fact that you got, your leaders on your team, believing in you and coaching you through it. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never played defense in my life. It's just not my thing. I've never played defense in my life. So, and especially that this being my first season, my first league, it's a lot. You get thrown in the deep end, and especially with guys who've been doing this for 10, 15 years. So the fact that I could have that experience, and the fact that he is such a great man manager, and the fact that he could give you the insight, the intel, I can't say enough about Dusto, man. Can't say enough about Jordan. I'm spoiled. I fell into into a good team for my first team. So
And
hopefully,
I honestly, I think all of the DV rooks, especially like the tier 4s and the tier 5s, I think they all honestly fell to like great teams with great leaders. Like, because I'm trying to think right now, all the rookies that are tier 4 and below, like obviously tier 4 and 5, they're the ones that need the most help. They all fell into great situations, whether it's you on the Niners, because even Chris J is a great leader and someone that's been playing since he's been a kid. Jose with Eddie, you, Matt, and CC with and Albert, because Albert's already a vet at this point with the amount of success he's had in the deal, individually at least. And Rafa, I think Laz initially with Joan, Yandri, with Piki, Roger and Albert, another team with 2 tier 5s with Baca. That's someone that knows the game.
Roger's eating, man.
Yep.
Roger's eating. And it's not just lo pastelito and migaito. Because, man, Baca feeding them. I keep looking at that stat sheet and I'm like, oh, I ain't winning this tier, man. Oh, my God. Because
tier 5 is tough this season. Tier 5 is tough.
Yeah, man. Manny and Roger are eating. And
Mendoza.
Yeah, no, but Mendoza's a veteran, man. Mendoza's a veteran because what Dusto was bringing up, we went up against him in week 1 when they hadn't broken up that team, and that was
they were already going 4 hard. Rob had already messed up his elbow.
Correct. And we tied that game. We couldn't finish them. Mendoza had like 2 touchdowns, and if Mendoza was 5 pounds lighter, he catches the game-winning touchdown. Because this man Mendoza completely stretched out from the 5-yard line to try and catch the game-winning touchdown.
That is a DD lifer right there.
No, man. And honestly, arguably one of the kindest, genuine, golden-hearted characters that are in this league, Mendoza. I got to meet him. I got to meet him through the DD tourneys for the COD tournaments. And since then the man won't accept an invite to play with me with COD, but man, the guy is gold. That's why I got you, Perra. That's why we play together. All right, gentlemen. So we're gonna break off to another golden segment, another cornerstone, another interview from our main man, Jules. Jules, take it away. Give us that next interview.
DD Live here. I'm here with the captain of the Steelers. How do you feel coming back from injury and joining in for Joan?
It's bittersweet because I'm happy to be out here, but it sucks to suck, I'm going 0 for right now, so we're trying to get just a moral victory, for our last game.
How's the confidence for the rest of the way?
I want to say hi, but I'm being honest, I don't know. I think we need some beers right now.
Facts. Glad to have you back. My boy or my dog?
My dog.
And we're back now to the most important part, where we look forward to week 4. Everything is going to pan out. All the bubble teams are going to know most probably halfway through the day where they're standing in the playoff picture. DD has chosen 3 games, and the first one on the slate that we're going to talk about, 8 a.m., Vikings, Raiders. Perra, talk to me. What do you think?
Vikings, Raiders. This is an 8 o'clock game. So it's a little bit tough, just because I know those 8 o'clock games can be a little tricky. But I see this going the Vikings way just because of the depth they have. One at captain, tier 2, and tier 3. But I still, it's just a simple fact that I love Patterson, but Lewis is Lewis. You can't cover or teach size. It's a lot to ask when you have someone with that size, that speed, those ball skills that you can just simply throw it up and let him go make a play for you. So I think they'll be able to. I think it should still be a 4-3 game, but I see the Vikings getting 2 at minimum 2 stops. And the Raiders may be getting 1, and that being a deciding factor. So I have the Vikings 4-3. It'll be a good game, though.
Yeah, Vikings 4-3?
Yep.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I've played both teams. We tied the Vikings and we lost to the Raiders. They came back on us. And I saw the same thing you saw. When in doubt, throw it anywhere Lewis is. And I love Pat. Pat's a monster, you know. And Dax, I think, has the best as far as athletic ability, as far as height and stuff, to potentially cover Lewis. But yeah, I think when in doubt, you know, I think he's gonna look his way. And Jules, man, he's a good wide receiver. He's a solid wide receiver, and he's getting better. So I think he'll only get even better playing with Lewis, seeing how Lewis is playing, how he's running his routes, those kinds of things. I see the Raiders winning 4-3.
4-3. Okay. Lewis for me is 1, right? And then 2, there's a huge drop off. I think every time that I walk on the field to watch this man play, he's just mossing somebody. You know, it's just the athletic ability that this guy has is it's unparalleled with what we have in the league right now. But is he 4 touchdowns better than Patterson? Because that's what's going to boil down to. And I think the answer is no. I think Patterson's, prowess, his IQ, there aren't slouches on the Vikings squad. They're top to bottom. You got guys with over 10 years of experience playing flag. So that's what I look into these games. Also, they have a great rusher. Kevin, arguably one of the best rushers that DD has. We know what happens with JD when he gets a little bit too much pressure. We saw that Aaron throw where David got the pick 6. Vikings 4-2. I think the Vikings see the writing on the wall that it's either put up or, they got to show up, or they're not going to make it into the playoffs. And ultimately, there's just too much there. There's too much pride. There's too much ego. And there's just too much football experience. Andy, Kevin, Patterson, Dax. These are all guys that everyone in the chat, outside of Patterson, dogs. Whether it be Kevin, whether it be Dax, whether it be Andy, everyone dogs these guys. And these are, it's sort of that same trait that Peaky has, where don't talk trash to him. Stay quiet, play the game. I think they see the writing on the wall. They got an 8:00 game where they have to show up, and I think Vikings take it 4-2.
Well,
moving on. Jets and Ravens, 8:45 a.m. So you got a favorable kickoff time, and you got the home. So you get the ball. Talk to me, Perra. What are you thinking?
I think it obviously comes down to my play, but my play on defense, not on offense. I think I love Petey, but I think like a lot of people can technically stay and stick with Pauly underneath, but it's just there isn't. I believe there's not a tier 2 that can cover Pauly. And I love Ant as well, but I'm not sure if we can cover Chris D one-on-one over and over and over. They have the speed advantage over us. So that's why I'm saying I think it comes down to my play on defense. But due to the simple fact that our offense is simple in terms of just give Pauly a dump off and he can score because he can make people miss, I think we take it 4-3.
Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting one because, again, the new look Jets, right? They had a whole week under their belt. They did well. They did really good. I don't know how PD is at quarterback. I know he can throw the ball, and I know he's smart. But again, you can attest to that. Just because you might know something, just because you can throw a ball, doesn't mean you can play quarterback. I'm not saying he can't. I just don't know. So with that question mark, I think you have Berra, who people can say is a defensive liability, but he knows where he needs to be. So you're never going to catch him off guard. You might beat him athletically, but you're not going to catch him off guard. So that's why your defense is doing well. I mean, you held up your own against one of the top teams, if not the top team right now, David. So I don't see the Ravens losing, especially that they have the ball. I think it goes 4-2.
Again, I bounce off the fact of knowing time and circumstance. And the reality is that the Ravens are playing for one of those buys. So Perra, you know that you can't miss this weekend. Like, you know that you got to show up to all 4 games and make sure that you put your team in a winning position. Can Chris D get covered by Ant? Yes. Can he cover him a whole game? Chris is going to, obviously, this game is favored towards the offense. Pauly's going to have his way with Petey. I know Petey's smart, but Pauly's going to have his way with him. I think the score will be somewhere around 4-3, but it's not going to be close. It's going to be one of those games where you guys could have put it away 4-2. You made a mistake on a 3rd down. They scored, and then you finished the game. I don't think it will be close. It'll be a 4-3. It's not going to be a blowout. We played them. Petey threw 2 pick sixes, and I was rushing Petey. I think you guys will put more pressure on him. You guys, listen, 4-3 Ravens. I'm not even considering the Jets at all, even being remotely close to winning this game. It's just the Ravens are just on another level. No disrespect towards the Jets. I think Anthony's a great player. I think Petey's an exceptional football player. You know, Enzo,
GM of the year.
Is he going to be 100%? You know, so you know, these things are, they factor into play. So it's a 4-2, 4-3 fringe game. Ravens, no questions. And third and final game of the week, 11:45 later on in the day, already after a couple games in their belts, Jets Rams.
I think this actually might be even more important game than people realize because of the fact that it's later on in the game. I mean, later on in the day. So I think both teams are this might be either one team's last game or both teams' third game. So they'll be able to know, okay, we're 2-0, we're 1-1, we're 0-2 or whatnot. So they'll be able to know at that point where they're actually are more realistically in terms of the standings. Because like we know, 1 and 2 get a double bye, 3 and 4 get a single bye. We are definitely trying to stay 2 and above so that we can get that double bye. But just like the Jets and Ravens game might be a decider for that 2 or 3 seed, whoever ends up in the 2 or the 3, just because of the fact that it's early on in the day. Yeah, it's big, but you don't necessarily know at that point. I think the fact that the Jets and Rams is later on in the day, they're going to have at least 2 games under their belts. They're going to know, they're going to have a little bit more of a clearer picture. And I like the Jets just because of the fact that I just like the Jets. If I have to bet, I'd rather bet on Marco's hands over Forrest's hands. I think obviously speed, we know probably no one can stick with Forrest. But the Jets have the speed at rusher, whether it's Marcos, whether Petey maybe decides to rush David that game, or even Enzo. I think those 3 guys can make David either run around enough where he's throwing off balance, off platform, and that affects his throws. And I think that's the difference maker, because I think both offenses should be able to score consistently. I think it's just whoever has the better rusher, because just like David, I think Petey's very capable, very mobile, and throwing off platform and stuff like that. But it's whoever gets pressured the most. And I think the Jets have a better combination of rushers than the Rams. So I take the Jets 4-2.
Okay. Okay. So Beta, tell me what you think about this. What do you think about the Jets rushing Ant?
I don't mind it because again, I don't think the Rams have a true number 1.
But see, so that's why I say that. Again, I mean, what do I know? These people know more than me. You know more than me. I get it. But when it comes to looking at the team, they don't have a Lewis. They don't have a Chris D. They've been getting it done. I am not here to back. They have been getting it done. David is MVP right now. He has my vote if I had to give one. But when it comes to that team, the way they're put together, PD, Enzo, and Marcos, I think they can hold it down long enough to where if you have Ant rushing, he's going to put a lot of pressure. And Ant's not going to get broken down like a lot of these rushers will get to David quick, but they won't pull his flag. That was one of the deciding factors in your game. Suazo was getting there, but wasn't pulling the flag. I don't think that happens with Ant. I think if they rush Ant, I think they win 4-2. Yep. If they don't, I don't see them winning. I think it's 4-3.
Right.
But
I'm
I'ma go
looking.
Jets
I'm looking.
too.
I'm looking at the schedule right now. Rams play Steelers 8:45. Then the Rams play the Buccaneers at 10:15. The Looney Look Buccaneers with Mo and Timmy.
That's a tough game.
So that's a tough game right there. And the Steelers, despite we know us knocking on Devin and Lulu, I don't think they're gonna go 0-4 again this week. So I don't think they're good enough to beat the Rams, but they're gonna put in an effort. Mo and Timmy, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. They know they got to go 3-1 or 4-0. So they're gonna play balls to the walls. Then the Rams play the Dolphins at 11. So it's gonna be the New Look Dolphins again, another team vying for a playoff spot. So you know the Dolphins are gonna give it their all, and then the Rams get the Jets at 11:45. Because of that, I'll give the slight advantage to the Jets. And it's gonna be a hot day. I can't guarantee that Forrest is not gonna go out on Friday again. And come on. So with the Heat, considering the teams that they're playing, not that they're essentially gonna lose these games, but it's a very different dynamic going from 3 games to 4 games. And then now having to play the Jets, which also might be in a pickle because they also have tough games to close out the schedule to try to lock in that playoff spot. You know, it's a kill or be killed week for a lot of teams, and I think it'll get the better of them for the reasons you guys mentioned. I still think the Rams won't hang their hat on anything, but I could see the Jets taking this 4-3. I see the Jets taking this 4-3. And with that brings up our games of the week, and we thank you guys for listening to that segment. And we're gonna move on to our fantasy insight, something that we've been working on. We want you guys to make more money, and I'm not going to give you my insight because apparently I don't know anything about DD, even though some claim that I have said I know more. Show me the timestamp, Joanne. Without further ado, Perra, give us your fantasy insight.
This week it's a tough week. I don't think there are a lot of options just because of the fact that there are a number of teams potentially going for hard. There's a couple of teams. I believe there's 5 teams that are completely out of it, in my opinion, already. So you have 9 teams fighting for 8 spots, and it's tough. I think quarterback, you gotta go top dollar. Just because David has a tough week schedule-wise, I don't want to go David. So if I have to this week, based on the fact that I'm going Andy at $26, because of the fact they play the Bills, they're already going 4 hard. They may potentially go 3 hard. So that's a huge plus. Then they play the Falcons. They're going 4 hard. Then they play the Cardinals. They're going 4 hard. And then they play the Raiders, which is going to be an offensive game. And at the end of the day, like I said, I just think Kevin or Dax can't get covered on a consistent basis by Jules or JD. So I think Andy has the matchups in his favor where I think he should be able to put up the numbers. So I think Andy at $26 is a lock for me. I think tier 1, it's kind of a rough play because Beaky's out of the question. I think Marshall is just not consistent enough. And again, because of the fact that I'm thinking schedule-wise is going to help out a lot, and the fact that they're a team that's fighting, they're fighting for a bye. I'm taking Jordan at tier 1 at $18, which I think is great value. Like, again, I haven't played the Bucks. That should be a pretty good game. I haven't played the New Look Titans. I think the Niners win that game. But again, I don't know if Drew can stay with Jordan consistently. Then they play the Cardinals that are going 4 hard. And then they play the Seahawks. So they don't have an easy schedule, but I like their matchups. Tier 2.
The only reason why I may not go Jordan is because he throws the ball sometimes. And
That's
if you're
why.
tier 1, you don't get points. You don't get points for quarterback. But I don't disagree. I think if Chris J is throwing the ball, that is Jordan at $18 is a steal.
I don't think Jordan had a single touchdown pass for week 3. We did use that wrinkle in week 1 and week 2. Week 3, we didn't see much of it. It was like, I think he put up what, 60 points in week 3.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent, which is also why that fared into me choosing him, because like Piki is a quarterback now. You have CC's CC's a number 1, but CC's going to be focused on like a true number 1 now, because you guys are going to have a tier 5 on the field at all times. Marshall is,
you got to get him the ball, but you can't get him the ball, which is the conundrum. So you can't pick him. So
I think Jordan at $18 value wise and consistency wise in 3 weeks, I gotta go him. Tier 2 is tough because although Julio is the play, $28 is a lot to spend for me at tier 2. Now with that being said, my 3 options, because I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. I got Dusty at 26, again, a favorable schedule matchup wise. I have Pauly, again, just because of the simple fact that it's just no one can cover him. And again, we pay the Bills. They're going 4 hard, maybe 3 hard. We play the New Look Titans. We've already exposed them. We're playing the New Look Jets. I don't think anyone can necessarily stick Pauly. And then we play the Falcons that are going 4 hard. So I don't think you can go wrong with Pauly. And then Timmy. Timmy has a chip on his shoulder, and Timmy at $20 is I wouldn't say he's a steal, but again, I don't think you can go wrong at tier 2. But the only reason why I'm staying away from
if Timmy throws the ball, does he get those points?
No.
Yeah, and that's what their offense is going to be predicated on.
Yeah, so that's where it's tough.
It's going to be that handoff, dump off, and it's sort of the knock also on CC with Matt, because of the fact that a lot of the big plays CC's involved in has to do with him throwing the ball. So yeah, I like the assessment there between either Pauly or Dusty. I think, you can't go wrong with either of those two. And man, it's just that I don't know how Chris J does it, but my God, does Jordan and Dusty eat on offense?
Yeah. And like I said, Julio's a lock. Julio's been, fantasy wise, he's been the best tier 2. But the problem is they're going for hard. And if they pick someone up, who will they pick up? I can't value that. I can't wait on that because I'm not going to know until after, everyone has to set their lineup. So I'm not picking Julio. Tier 3 for me is a steal, Randolph. Coming off a great week 3, coming off a great tournament this past weekend. And he played very well week 3. And now he has, again, not a favorable matchup, but he's arguably going to be the 4th option on that team or the 3rd option, with Piki being able to roll out, like David. So buying that extra time, it's big. And the fact that Randolph at $10 is a steal. Tier 3, you can obviously go with Kevin, you can go with Daniel, but you can't spend top dollar at every tier. So I think $10 for Randolph is a steal, in my opinion. Tier 4, it was slim pickings just because, again, you can hammer Forrest. You don't know what he's going to do Friday night. And again, $28 on a tier 4, I don't care how good the productivity is. It's not enough to warrant $28 at tier 4. So I got Manu at $18. Showed up week 3, balled out. I think had 5 sacks. The guy is a baller. And again, they played a somewhat favorable schedule in terms of Manu matches up well against the Raiders, tier 4 wise. They match up well against us because Manu can arguably run by me on a consistent basis, I would say. Then they play the Vikings. I think it's a give or take with him and Andy. And then they play the Bills that are going for hard. And on top of that, Manu never has to get off the field because they're going for hard. So the value, he's going to get the looks.
He's going to get the targets, which is sort of what we've been seeing with Manny and Roger at the tier 5. They're getting the targets because they're getting the reps in.
Exactly.
As opposed to, in order to justify selecting Forrest, which we're not talking here about talent wise, we're talking here about what's going to reflect on the stat sheet. The cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows that Forrest runs a 4.5 40. So everyone knows the skill set, everyone knows the ability. And as much as everyone wants to knock on his IQ or knock on his hands, or because Forrest is a gamer. Forrest just lost a title game this past week on a Wednesday. So he's playing in another league where he just lost in a title game. So, but $28 for a tier 4.
It's tough.
When you know that he's not going to get a tier 4 covering him.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, for $28, you need to spend it on a quarterback that's giving you 110 points.
Absolutely.
You need to spend it on a tier 1 that's giving you 80
Forrest
plus
has
points.
an astronomical day, and all he could give you is 60, 70 points max,
Exactly.
which is amazing. It's amazing, but it's not $28 worth for what
tier
you could
4,
get.
because then you're gonna have to give up somewhere else.
Right.
So
right. And you do that for a quarterback. You don't do that. You don't do that at 4. So I agree with you there.
And then
tier 5.
Tier 5, bro, it was tough. So obviously this is not a legitimate lineup because I went with Manny S. And Manny S is $28 at tier 5. So this completely contradicts everything we just talked about in tier 4. But again, there's so many teams. The Bills are going for hard. The Cardinals are going for hard. The Falcons are going for hard. Let me see.
It has to be Manny, Roger, or Mendoza. Those are your 3.
And they're gonna cost you money.
And they're gonna cost you. Yeah. So that's why you can't go Forrest at tier 4. Even more so is why you got to drop down and get that value. And that's why where you bring in Jordan at $18 earlier in the segment, which is because you're kind of pinned. Look, as great as I want to be on offense, Dusty and Jordan are getting those targets.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Even last week, you guys went for hard, and you look at your stats. You had a good week, but it
was
doesn't.
Like,
it
that's
didn't
it.
warrant much.
Yeah, like that's it. That's all you got. And it was because, but then you look at their numbers, like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. And it's sort of been up and down. Week 1 I had 3 touchdowns, but then it's just been the Dusty and Jordan show ever since then. And so that's why I can't speak to anyone else on I know that John's very high on Harold, but it's just that in terms of what personnel schedule wise and the mentality of the quarterback, you have to go with, depending what your money pot is, it either has to be Manny, Mendoza, or Roger, because those 3 boys at tier 5, they eat. So
and they're doing it consistently,
week in, week out. Week in and week out.
And again, the fact that you're able to, in my opinion, the fact that Jordan is a value pay at 18 and Randolph is a value pay at $10.
How much money they got me at tier 5?
Give me a second. I believe you're like in the top 6, so you might be like right around $20.
Yeah, still too much.
18.
Yeah, 18. So
still too much.
It's rough. It's rough. It's just
because now we got George back. So George is going to get some looks. I'm going to be off the field. It's those 3 guys. Set your lineups accordingly, gentlemen. So that was our fantasy insight. And now we're going to go to our last interview of the day. Jules, what you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, I ran my route. DD Live here. I'm
Yo.
How you feeling, bro? I heard you got a dub.
Yes, sir. You know how it is. The Bills with the best tier 5 in the game.
How does it feel to upset your opponent?
No, it wasn't an upset. We're clearly better. Don't go by our record. Look at these studs here. Brad, Baca, Junior. Full of studs.
So are you saying that you believe in your team and you think you can go all the way?
I don't know about all that, but we will be in the playoffs. So come, bring it, or get out.
One last thing. Am I your dog or your boy?
You're my dog.
And we're back, gentlemen. Now, this segment, we're going to be looking at a quick look ahead at the games for the following week. And we each are going to pick, 1 or 2 instances of what we should be able to look to. And I'll start off this segment. And the game that I want to look at is that 12:30 match, which I will be in. It's going to be the 49ers and Buccaneers. Because if everything plays out as it should, the Buccaneers should be in prime position to be able to lock up a playoff berth if they took care of business going up to this game 4. And the 49ers should have already wrapped up the playoff picture. So this game is going to really boil down to the mentality of both teams, and it will either propel one or the other team into the playoffs and sort of give them that boost into how they're going to be playing into playoff week 1. I'm really excited to see because I remember playing them when week 1, it was the Mendoza game. There was just no answer for Mendoza. I think in the last drive we brought in George just to try something, and George was able to body Mendoza a little bit and be able to tame him a bit. But these are not the same Buccaneers. Mo definitely has a chip on his shoulder. I saw him this past weekend playing, and he was playing phenomenal. He was extremely vocal. I don't think how many You could have been a couple fields far away from him. Timmy has a chip on his shoulder. He got sent to the bottom of the standings practically, and they answered back with 4-0. So, you know, you think that they're going to put up a 3-1 or a 4-0. That's what's on their minds for this week. And I don't think anything less than a 3-1.
They need to go 4-0.
They got to go 4-0.
Yeah, they got to go 4-0 because they're 4-7. 3-1, that means they go 7-8-1. Can potentially get them in, but they need to go 4-0. 4-0
and the point difference
get them in.
The point difference is huge. The point difference is
and
huge.
that's a good game because you guys need to win. I'm not saying you guys need to win, but you guys need, in my opinion, you guys need to lock up one of the buys. So you guys need to finish in that top 4, and right now you're at 4. So right. I think you might be going. I think going into that game you might be 2-1. Right. I don't see you guys being 1-2 going into that game. But I think if you go 2-2, you're putting a lot on the. You might be risking that 4 seed, and I don't know if you guys can. I think you guys will definitely benefit from getting that 4 seed.
Absolutely. It's one of the. It's why it's the game that I'm looking forward to, and play into the heat, play into the fact that it's our last game. It's going to be the last game of the regular season. God knows what could happen. God forbid, no injuries. But it's definitely the one that I'm looking at. That's the one I'm looking at. It, not a coincidence that it's my team, but there's a lot of storylines going on to this week, and unfortunately, we don't have to talk about trades or speculate anything of that nature. But Matt, what do you think? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, there's a couple of games I'm looking at. One of them is the 12:30. So I want to do 2 games because I don't want to do just my team, but sure. 12:30 Vikings and Cardinals. 2 teams fighting for playoffs, fighting for seeding. And I think as we get towards the end of the day, it's hot. We're tired. People are gassed. Some people we might be going 4 hard. I don't know what's happening with our tier 4. We have to win. They have to win. This is one of those games where I think everyone's going to give everything they got. So that's one of the games I'm looking at right now. And then the last game, which might be crazy, but I'm looking at the Raiders and the Falcons. The Falcons have nothing to lose. And I've played with Marshall. Marshall's the kind of guy who will give me the handoff and I'm going to run. Can the Raiders stop that? And the Raiders have to win. The Raiders are, if I'm not mistaken, they might be in 7th place.
Yeah, but they're in that little cluster. I think it's 3 teams that are 6-6. So yeah. I think very easily 2 of those teams can go 3-1.
Yeah, but the Raiders play the Vikings, the Dolphins, and the Jets.
Exactly. So they need to win. They need to win the Falcons game. So because 2-2 might not get you.
That's why I'm highlighting.
No, wow, no. It's gonna be, man. It's a week. It's a week to watch, boys. It's a week to watch. Pedro, what you got for us?
I don't have one game I'm looking at because obviously I can say Ravens Jets. I think obviously that's a key game. But yeah, let's say Rams Bucks at 10:15. That is the Rams' second game and the Bucks' second game. So they're gonna be a little bit of, they're gonna be ready for that game. They're both gonna have a break. Bucks get ball first, like we've been saying. I don't know if Mo necessarily has a chip on his shoulder, but Mo's definitely a gamer. I know Timmy definitely has a chip on his shoulder.
Man, I want to see those guys in the playoffs, honestly, man.
I'm not gonna go as far as to say I'm scared, or I think they present a big problem for the Ravens,
right.
For the Ravens, but that's a game where you can see the Rams losing. Then maybe Vic, you guys gassed out, I think, mentally more than anything last week. The Rams might start 0-2 because what happens if the Steelers show up? They might start 0-2 and they slip out and they maybe fall to the 4 or maybe completely out of a bye. I don't see it happening, but I think that's a key game because it's right in the middle of the day. I like the Bucks that game, but I think it's a very, very close game because of the fact, again, just like I said before, the Rams can run a regular defense once Forrest is out. So can the Bucks, and they have Fernie to rush. So that's a good defense against David.
And then they have Fernie, bro.
That's a great defense to go against David.
That's tough. That's tough. But that's we have a lot to look forward to. And touching up on the Jets. Jets play the Finns, they play the Ravens, they play the Raiders, and then they finish off the day with the Rams. They could have gone from the hottest team to the coldest team. It's definitely Saturday cannot get here soon enough. So there's a lot to look forward to, gentlemen.
Yeah.
So rapid fire, bold predictions. Matt, what you got for me? Bold.
Oh man.
Bold.
Bold.
I think I'm the only one who
Bold.
hit on his bold last week, but you give it to me, Matt.
Okay. I see the Jets going from 3 to 8 seed.
Oh,
Because they're going 1 and 3
Go.
or 0 and 4.
Well, I think they go 0-4. I think the schedule's too hard. I think they were so high on the pedestal last week, and they're up there, and someone hits that ladder and they fall right off. I think they end up. I still think they make the playoffs, but AC.
okay. Perra, what do you think?
Again, it's tough because it's an early game. It's one of the 8 o'clock games. But I don't see the Rams having a good week. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the winner of the Seahawks and Niners game, that captain is going to go on to go 4-0 and win MVP. Because Peaky deserves hella credit going 6-6.
Yeah.
Without a tier 3
Every week.
every single week with a lower end tier 2 at the end of the day, because as much as I love Devin, he's not a tier 2. And that deserves a lot of credit. And Jordan, 2 tier 5s, I still don't think they can win it all, because at the end of the day, as much as I like Angel and I think he's a borderline tier 4 in my opinion, there's just still some, at the end of the day, he can cover some tier 4s, but he's a tier 5 at the end of the day. It's point blank. There's not much else to it. So I think whatever team wins that game will go on to go 4-0, and that captain will win MVP over David, because I think David is not going to have a tough week, but the Rams as a team, they're going to slip out the number 1 seed.
Let me ask you a question, because now that you bring that up, MVP voting, how is it decided?
Everybody in the league votes.
Everyone in the league votes. Traditionally,
and you cannot vote for your teammate.
Okay,
Yeah.
But traditionally, do people side with the storyline or do they side with the statistics?
That's a tough one. I would probably say statistics, because in my opinion,
No, because I saw Nico's numbers. I saw Nico's numbers from last season. What was it? 55 touchdowns, 3 interceptions?
I think,
disgusting.
with 9 picks on defense.
And he had like a different team every week, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he got the crackhead nickname for a reason. But
okay,
my opinion, David is number 1 right now, because besides the fact that they're number 1, I don't think people have realized this. David right now is 5-1 going 4 hard, because he went 3-1 week 1.
Yeah, without Nico that had a baby shower.
And then last week he went 2-0 essentially, because he beat you guys essentially without force.
Right.
And then they beat us. So that 5-1 is huge without a tier 4 and without a tier 3. That a tier 3 that knows the game in Patino, and a tier 4 in the tier 4 and 4s, that's a game changer.
Is Danny a tier 2?
In the right system. But it doesn't really matter when he's the number 1 pick in tier 3. And it doesn't really matter when it's kind of like, the same question when you have 2 tier 2s. Is Chris J really a tier 2? No, but he's by definition essentially the tier 3. The drop off is that you go from the end of tier 2 to the mid to high, a little bit of tier 5. So that's a huge gap of players that you have to make up. But, I think Danny in the right system is a tier 2. But what system is that? Is that a system where only his brother can play? But then at the end of the day, I don't think Danny can be a true number 1, right, given the rest of the talent at tier 2. Okay. So it's a give or take. It's more preference, but I think he's in the lower side of tier 2. But then it's kind of like Kevin. Is Kevin really a tier 2? Maybe, definitely athletically, he's not. But then up here, and the fact that he's a rusher, he probably should be a tier 2.
Right. I can't disagree there.
Yeah.
What I will say about Danny is that, you know, and I argued to put that as one of the top plays, and you overruled me on that one. But listen, Danny had to cover Lewis. David was not on the field. Point blank period. Danny got that pick and kind of sealed the game, because then the Rams came and they came back, they scored, and they won the game. Danny's not on the field. David wasn't playing. So you have what? A tier 3 was covering, not even arguably,
the best receiver in the league.
No debate. Number 1 receiver in the league. No debate. And he won that battle. So statistically, David has to take it unless he wets the bed week 4, which I doubt he will. But I actually do appreciate the fact that you give some love to Jordan, because one of the biggest gripes that I have is that, okay, you know, you could talk as much as you want about myself or about George, the tier 5s and whatnot, or the fact that Chris J is not, but that adds to the narrative of the fact that Jordan is doing it all. Look at the numbers. They speak for themselves. Everyone mocked him that he put himself in a bad position. Oh, he didn't read the room correctly. That's why he's not a top captain. He's not a top this. He's not a top that. Every week he gets picked to go 1-3, 0-4, and the team's in 4th place, despite having to go 4 hard, despite having a tier 3 as a tier 2, despite having 2 trash tier 5s.
I think Jordan's finished in the top 3 MVP every season he's been on it. Now, the one thing I will tell you is, hopefully he shows up for the playoffs, because he's made the playoffs every single season, but he never shows up for the playoffs. So I hope he shows up.
Hey, Jordan, I hope you're watching. I hope you're watching, man, because I'm defending you here, man. I'm defending you. I'm expecting you to
I'm a believer in Jordan. Like I said, I'm pretty sure both seasons he's been on with me, he's been in the top 3 on it, because he's had a top 4 team every single season, and he's been doubted every single season. So he's put in the work. He's shown, you know, he can lead and he can win.
But I just want for the guys who fall in love with the statistics to just look at the storyline, and the storyline is that. And my bold prediction is actually, it was going to be the same exact thing that you were going to say. I think Beaky has been dealt a bad hand and marred with injuries. And the fact that he just still shows up, has had game with questionable calls. And then he keeps chipping away. You know, they're going to make a deep playoff push despite seeding. They make the playoffs. They'll make a playoff push. Beaky, arguably top 3 MVP for me, just because if we're looking at the storylines, in my mind, going into week 4, looking at everything that has transpired, you got to give it 1 to David, 2 Jordan, 3 Beaky. Those are my top 3 MVPs. So if I can't vote for Jordan, I'm voting for David. But that's the top 3 going into week 4. We'll see what week 4 has in store for us. Mm-hmm. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys being on, and I want to thank everyone who has tuned in. We just love to talk football. We love to talk about you guys, give you guys our insight. And like we said, you got any comments? You guys want to get on the show? You guys want to send us some content, some clips? Send it in. We'll definitely, all we want to do is spread the love. We're all DD lifers like you all, and we wish you guys the best of luck in the coming week 4. Stay healthy. You guys got your fantasy insight. You got your top plays. You got your recap. See you on Saturday. DD out.